Hello. We shall just plunge straight in, if you don't mind. First up today, these are crime reads. First up today, we have got Lying Beside You by Michael Robotham, and this comes to us from Hachette. Now, if you have read Robotham before, you know he's got his Joe O'Loughlin series, and have you seen that TV show, The Suspect? This is not Joe O'Loughlin, it's the other one, Cyrus Haven and Evie Cormack. It is number 3. Number 1 and number 2 were Good Girl, Bad Girl, and I can't remember the name. Yes, When She Was Good. And this is the third. You can pick it up without having read the first 2, though I suppose in order to understand who Evie is, you would be possibly better to read the first 2. But as with every good crime writer, he really, you can walk straight in and not necessarily have done so. Oh my goodness, this is another one of those suspenseful ones. So Cyrus Haven, forensic psychologist. He has Evie Cormack living with him now. He's a guardian for her. Evie, in this one, interferes. She's trying to help, and he really, in a lot of ways, thinks he doesn't need this. She's also got her conflicting feelings going on, and I thought that was beautifully handled. In this one, Cyrus's brother Elias, who you may or may not know anyway, was responsible for the murder of their parents. And Elias has been shut away in a psychiatric institution and is due for temporary or experimental release, just to see how that goes, and is supposed to be coming back to live with Cyrus, and Cyrus has to work out whether or not he can forgive him. Alongside this storyline, we have Evie's interference and her brushes with the actual crimes, where we have, it goes back to hospitals, nurses, babies, we have abductions, we have death. Really everything you need in a great thriller. Could not put it down. It's very tense, and he just gets better and better. You know, what can we expect from a CWA Gold Dagger winner? This is what we can expect. Absolutely stunning. Highly, highly recommend. Number 2 up, you don't really need for me to tell you an awful lot about this one, because Jane Harper is becoming a household name. This is number 3 in the Herron Falk series, and as the info is that she just keeps getting better. Laura read this one for us, and I'll give you her exact words, but obviously nails it. Absolutely thrilled with it. She said it was superb. It really captured that slow burn that she loved in The Dry. So we're getting that same feeling again. However, this is a new country town that we're in, so we're not in the, well, she does like moving around a bit, but this is a town with its secrets, which are long buried, and Falk has to kind of expose these to get to, he's got to dig them up. It's atmospheric, unexpected, and as we all love, unputdownable. So there's a beaut for you to put on your Christmas list. Now the next one up, and I'm only giggling because I'll tell you in a second. This is Mick Herron. This is, it's called Bad Actors, and we have this one from, I have to look up, it's Baskerville, so that's Hachette as well. So if you have never picked up a Mick Herron, this is number 8. It's in the Slow Horses series. It's MI5, and it's a kind of outpost of MI5 with outcasts or demoted spies who get involved in all sorts of shenanigans and are constantly kind of at war with the main MI5 characters. Now, it was David who started, who read this one or listened to it, and he went straight in on this one, like on number 8, and said, my God, that is so good. He went back and started with number 1. So shows you it's doable, that with any of these, again, with great crime writing, you can always jump in on one and say, get your story, get some of your backstory, and then know you want to fill it all in. And with all writers, it's when you've discovered one, discover the rest of them if you've liked it. He says it's brilliant. He says we have all these, embittered spies and people being thwarted, and particularly our stable of slow horses. The Russians going AWOL or going off radar. We have a lot of missing persons. But as David said, he said, look, this is written with huge shovelfuls of political incorrectness. Outrageous comments from Jackson Lamb, who's kind of the head of this outpost of misfits. Very, very clever and very funny. If none of you have seen Slow Horses on the TV, you should probably check that one out as well. Next one, Richard Osman's The Bullet That Missed, and this one is Penguin Viking. Now, most of you will be no strangers to this. It's number 3 in the series from Richard Osman, and I haven't read it. I have had 2 staff members who've read it, and it's, you know, with each one, again, getting better. And this is what we want, you know, our writers to do, is to start, our writers, I own them all, start as he did really well with the Thursday Murder Club, got even better with The Man Who Died Twice. And in this one, anecdote, I'm in the shop asking staff members, so has anybody read it and how good is it? And I was getting a sort of little barrage of responses when one of my customers turned around and said, yeah, well, what I can tell you is they don't all die at the end. And I sort of said, sorry, what? Double take? And she said, yep, one of the bullets missed. The bullet that missed. That was funny of me, wasn't it? Again, that is an absolute definite for your Christmas stocking. It's the cosy crime, the sort of more elderly members of society getting together and sleuthing. He packs everything into them. So that's an absolute treat. And our last one up, goodness, I'm ripping through these, is The Tilt by Chris Hammer, and this one comes to us from Alan and Unwin, and goodness, I always read him because I love his atmosphere of everything that is Australian, whether it be, you know, opal mining towns, whether it be bush, seaside town, the whole thing. He just gets his atmosphere and his landscape so well done. This one is an absolute humdinger. You should never miss out on him. Now, we have in this one returned to the 2 protagonists from Treasure and Dirt. So we have Ivan, and mostly in this one we're concentrating on Nell Buchanan, who has now become a detective constable going up in the world. And in this one, she is returning to the landscape of the Tilt, which is, and I have to get this all right, it's the Cadell Tilt on the edge of the Barmamula Forest on the Murray. And this is, it starts off as a cold case. Nell has to come back because a body has been found in one of the regulators where, you know, water had been let in and out, and they found a body down there, and it's been pulled out, and it's been eventually, it's not the only body we find, but this one is the kind of the departure point for splitting our story into 3 timelines. So we have a World War II timeline with the prisoners of war who were in this area in a camp. We have the 1970s timeline, so Nell's generation back, a previous generation, and then we have our current timeline with Nell Buchanan, and she is personally involved in this, which also gives her a conflict of interest, which is always fascinating. There are the usual ingredients, but something about this one absolutely scored top points for me in the complexity of weaving these 3 timelines together. And, you know, watch for it, because in each of the timelines you're getting little signals and little clues being dropped that, you know, not only just give it all this richness and depth, but actually make it so, oh my God, yes, that's what, I wonder, is it this? And you yourself are threading, as Hammer is threading this incredibly intricate and marvelously sort of, we can relate to the characters in it. An absolutely fabulous read. And I think that adding that historical layer gave it a sort of a depth that really sort of foregrounded and threw into relief the actual current story. I found it absolutely totally satisfying as a read. Again, that's The Tilt, Chris Hammer, from Alan and Unwin. Now, that's my roundup done. Aren't I good? I hope you enjoyed that. That's it from me. See you next time.